In our previous video, we discussed about Module 3, Chapter 1 about deadlocks. In that, I covered tail-lever prevention, deadlock prevention method. Now, in today this video, I'm going to discuss about these three topics: deadlock avoidance, deadlock detection, and deadlock recovery. Hope you all clear about the previous topics. And this is about deadlock avoidance. What do you mean by deadlock avoidance? I already explained that. What do you mean by avoidance and all? Deadlock avoidance is nothing but you are using some algorithms, you are taking care of that. None of the process should enter to the deadlock condition. That is nothing but your deadlock avoidance. For avoiding the deadlock situation between the different processes, you are making use of one algorithm called as Banker's algorithm. What do you mean by Banker's algorithm? In that Banker's algorithm, you are having a mainly two states. One is safe state and another one is unsafe state. Before that, Banker's algorithm is a deadlock avoidance algorithm, and Banker's is named because the algorithm is modeled after a banker who makes loads from the pool of capacity and receives payments that are returned to that pool. It is nothing but, for example, if any of the person went to the bank, apply for a loan, means the person or the manager first should check all the necessary conditions or the prerequisites, whether the mainly few parameters here is going to consider while the manager or while from that bank person is giving the loan, whether he gave the loan to that particular person is safe or not. You will going to check based on the few parameters. For example, uh, based on the person age, what is the age of that person, what is the occupation of that person, whether he is working or not. Whether if he is working, means it is safe to give the give loan to that particular person, I mean sanction loan to that particular person. And if it is not working, means it is not safe. Along with that, he has to check the age of that person. If he is more than 50, if he is in between 50 to 60 years, means it is not safe to give the loan for that particular person. If he is between 30 25 to 40 months, it is a safe condition to give that sanction the loan to that particular person. In such a way, in Banker's algorithm, it is also check whether the condition is or the processes are in safe state or not. In the unsafe state, there may be a chance of a deadlock, but when you consider it as a safe state, there is no any chance of the deadlock. This is all about your Banker's algorithm. In Banker's algorithm, you will be having a basic terminologies like allocation. Allocation is nothing but how many resources. Here you are considering in this operating system problems, for the processes you are considering the process and the resources, the allocation of the process for the particular resources. In previous resource allocation graph, I explained you that how the resources will be allocated to the different processes. In the same way, allocation is nothing but how many resources are allocated for the each and every process. That is nothing but your allocation. And while solving the problem, I am going to explain how to calculate the allocation, max, need, and I will going to give the formula for that, how you can solve the Banker's algorithm problems and all. Next is max. Max is nothing but maximum allocation of the resources, or max is the maximum number of resources that a process requires to during its execution. What is the maximum allocation or maximum mag what maximum number of resources which is that a process can require to complete its execution? That is your max value. And in that max value, you will be having two different parameters. That is, one is need. What is the need? Need is nothing but it is a current climb, need or climb of a process, where a process climb is equal to its maximum need minus its current allocation. I will show the formula and how I will while solving the problem I will show you how to calculate that. Need is nothing but it is an current climb of a process. What do you mean by available? Available is nothing but once the resource is allocated, once they have given the complete resource, for each and every process you have to calculate what is the available resource for that particular process. That is nothing but available, or it is also called as work. Next is safe sequence. As I said you, the safe state and the unsafe state. Once you calculated whether the process is in a safe state means it will be entered to your safe sequence. That is how after calculating the safe state you have to consider. You have to write the safe sequence for the same snapshot or for same given problem. That is about your safe sequence. And your next topic is drawbacks of your Banker's algorithm. There are few drawbacks or weakness of your Banker's algorithm. First one is it requires that there be a fixed number of resources to allocate. Always the whatever the value allocated to each and every process, it will be the resource value will be always in a fixed values. It can't be a variable. It can't be changed based on some requirements and all. And next one is the algorithm requires that users state their maximum needs in advance. And next weakness of your Banker's algorithm is number of users must remain fixed. You can't add or delete the number of users, or here you can consider it as a number of process. And next one is the algorithm requires that the bankers grant all requests within a finite time. Next is algorithm requires that process returns all resources within a finite time. Once it is once the process completes its execution, it has to retain, or uh, it it has to return all the allocated resources back. Once it is written by that particular process, it can be allocated to any other processes. That is what it means. And these are the few drawbacks or the weakness of your Banker's algorithm. Let's see how to solve the Banker's algorithm problem. Consider this as a first, consider this question. Consider the following example of a system. Check whether the system is safe or not. Here they are asking you to check whether the system is in a safe condition or not using the Banker's algorithm. And also you have to determine the sequence of its safe sequence. You have to write the safe sequence. Before that, I am going to explain you how to solve this. Here I specified that need is equal to, you have to, these are all the contents, whatever I have written in the bold letters, that will be the content or the data which is given by the who will prepare the question paper, or it is a given data. What you need to calculate is the need value. How you will calculate the need value? There is a formula for calculating the need value: maximum value minus allocation value. One thing you have to remember here, if here you are subtracting the value, it's well and fine. If you are performing any addition operation, in the further steps you need to perform the addition operation. By that time, for example, you will be having a value like this. Then it will be, answer will be 10, but you have to consider, or you have to write the complete value as a 10 is as it is. Um, for better example, here these three are different values. Don't consider it as a 753. These three are different values. For 7 is an resource of A, or the value for A resource. 5 is the value for B resource. 3 is the value for C resource. Considering there are 3 resources A, B, C, for those resources this is the value. For example, here if you get If you want to perform addition operation for these values, means how you will do 3 plus 2, it is 5. 3 plus 2, it is 5. Next, 6 plus 5, it is 11. But here you are considering it as a one value. You are not going to any carry forward any of the digits or carry forwarding any of the values. So value of B is 11, value of A is 10. You have to write as it is. As it is, you are taking the values. You are like your normal addition operation. You are not going to carry the value and you will be adding for the next numbers. No, it won't work like that. Here you have to calculate, or here you have to perform the addition operation in such a manner. So here how you will calculate the need value. Need is equal to max minus allocation. So 7 minus 0, it is 7. Next it is 5 minus 1, 4. 3 minus 0, value is 3. So these are the values you are finding out the need value. Same way calculate the need value for your P1 process. 3 minus 2, it's 1. 2 minus 0, 2. 2 minus 0, 2. For P2 process, 9 minus 3, 6. 0 minus 0, 0. 2 minus 2, 0. For P3 process, 2 minus 2, 0. 2 minus 1, 1. 2 minus 1, 1. Next is 4 minus 0, 4. 3 minus 0, 3. 3 minus 2, 1. This is your need value. Hope you all understood about how to calculate the need value for each and every process. It is nothing but you have to follow the formula, or you have to apply the formula, that is max minus allocation. If you apply that formula for each and every resource, by that time you will get the value. So this is the value for the need of each and every process. Once you calculated the need value, now you have to calculate whether the process is in a safe state or not. They ask you whether the processes are safe or not, whether the system is in a safe or not, and you have to write the safe sequence using the Banker's algorithm. Determine the safe sequence. You have to first calculate whether the system is in safe. Well, if it is a safe, you have to write the safe sequence. How to write that? Here, this is the Banker's algorithm. In this Banker's algorithm, you have to follow. Before that, in Banker's algorithm, you are making use of two types of algorithms. Safe, one is safety algorithm, and another one is resource allocation algorithm or resource request algorithm. These two are different algorithms. I will see you. This is an example for your safety in Banker's algorithm. This is an example for your safety algorithm. In safety algorithm, how you are going to calculate whether the process is is in a safe state or not, means this is the formula. First you have to check, you will be having a need value. Based on that need value, you have to check whether the need value is lesser than or equal to work. It is nothing but lesser than or equal to available value. For if it is confusing, you can consider it as a available. Available and work both are same. So what is the need value for P0 process? Here go to the need table. What is the need value for your P0 process? 743. 743 is the need value. So right here 743. Now, what is the work value? Work is nothing but available value. What is the available value they have given? This is the available value 332. So 332. This is your available value. Now check whether the need value is lesser than or equal to available value or it is false. When this will become false, you are not going to calculate the work value or available a new available value. Once it is true, then only you are going to calculate the new available value. Now for P0 process, it will become false. The condition become false. By that time, you need to check for next process. For P1 process, what is the need value? 1, 2, 2. This is your need value. Now, what is the available value? You didn't get any new available value, so you are considering the same as 332. This is the available value. Now, you have to check whether the condition is true or false. The condition is true. So, what you are going to do? You are going to calculate the new available value for this particular process. What is the formula for that? Work is equal to or available is equal to available plus allocation. So, for P1 process, what is the available value? 332. That is the available value. For that, you are going to add the allocation value. What is the allocation value now? 200. This is the P1 process allocation value. So you are going to add allocation value of P1 with the available value. So what is the value now? 532. This is the new available value. You need to update this new available value in this table. Now you are going to scratch out this. The new available value is 532. Those who have those are all the values I have specified or marked in a red color. Those are all the values you are going to calculate. Whatever the values I have, make it as a bold. It is a given data. And next for P2 process. Here for P2 process, what is the need value you are getting? 600. That is the need value. What is the new available value? You have to always, each and every step, you have to consider the new available value. So it is 532. Now check the condition whether need is less than or equal to work. It is false. So you are not going to calculate any new available value. Now check for P3 process 3. What is the need value of process 3? 0, 1, 1. What is the available work value? Available work value is nothing but it is same 532. Now check the condition whether the need value is greater than, less than or equal to work value. The condition satisfied. It is true. So what you are going to do? You are going to calculate the new available value. How you are going to calculate that? 532 plus what is the allocation of P3 process? 211. 211. So after performing addition, what will be the new available value? 5 plus 2 7, 3 plus 1 4, 2 plus 1 is 3. This is your new available value. You are going to specify that new available value in the available table. So what is the new available value? 7 4 7 4 3. Just scratch out this. So this is 743 is your new available value. Now for P4 process, what is the need value? 431. Just a second. Before that, what are whenever the process will become satisfy the condition, whenever the need value is less than work, by that time you are considering that process is in a safe state. So for your convenience, just specify the process value which will become true. You have to write it in a sequence. Once the condition becomes true, just enter that process value or process number in the safe state or in the safe sequence. So P1 is the first process which enters to the which is become a safe state, and next your P2 become fail. Next P3 is the next process which enters to a safe sequence. Now P4, what is the allocation value? Sorry, available value, new updated available value 743. This is a new available value. Whether the condition is true or false, you have to check whether the condition is true or false. 431 is lesser than 743. The condition becomes true. Now what you are going to do, you have to calculate the new available value. Available value plus allocation value 002. So what is the value? 745. This is your new available value. Update the 745 in your available table. 745. You need to scratch out this previous value. Once it is done, once you're done with all four process, all number of processes, you have to check how many process enters to your safe sequence, or how many processes having how many process satisfy the condition. Your P0 process becomes fail. You have to repeat the process until the process enters to the safe sequence. So once again you have to do it for P0 process. Now what is the need for P0 process? Need will remain same. So it is 743. This is the need value. Now what is the updated available value? 745. This is your updated available value. Now check the condition whether the P0 value, need of P0 is lesser than or equal to work. Yes, now it is satisfying the condition. Now the condition becomes true. Now what you are going to do, you need to calculate the new available value. So it is 745 plus, what is the allocation value for P0 process? It is 1010. Sorry, 1010. So if you did sum of this, 755. This is the new available process. Now once it becomes true, it will enter to the safe sequence P0. Now, which is the next process where the condition becomes false is your P2 process. So now you need to calculate again for P2 process. What is the need value? It remains same 600. What is your work available value? 755. Now check whether the condition will true or false. 600 is lesser than or equal to 755. The condition is true. Now what you are going to do, you need to calculate the new available value. It is 755 plus, what is the allocation value for P2 process? It is 302. 302. After summing, what is the value? 3 plus 7 plus 3, it's 10. 5. 5 plus 2, it's a 7. This is the updated new value. Now your P2 also become enters to your safe sequence. This is how you are going to calculate, or you are going to write the safe sequence or the safe state. Here you have to update in your available table. After 745, what is the value? It's 755. At the end, what is the value? 10, 5, 7. This is the final available value. Always keep that in a mind. Your total available value will become your total resource value. Always it will be matched. How many total, if they have specified, or if they have in the next problem, I am going to explain that how to calculate the first. In this problem, they have already given you that available value, directly available value at the initial stage. But if it is not given in the question, if they specified about your total available value or total resource value, means how to calculate the available value, I'm going to show it in our next problem while solving that problem. Always keep that in your mind. At the end, what is the available result you will be getting, right? That should be equal to total resource value. It always be the vice versa. The total resource value at the end, all process get allocated until there is the end of your total resource value. It should match your available end available value, and the total resource value should match. This is the first program. This is the first problem in your bankers algorithm. Here you are making use of your safety algorithm or safe sequence algorithm. This is one problem, and this is your next problem. In this next problem, what they have given is considering the following system snapshot using data structure in the bankers algorithm with the resources. There are 4 resources. In the previous problem, there are only 3 resources, A, B, C. Here they are making use of 4 resources, A, B, C, D. And the processes are P0 to P3. There are 4 processes totally, and resources are, the total resources are, they have given the resource value, total resource value, but they have not, they didn't specify the available value. So how to calculate that resource value? Once the resource value is given, how to calculate the available value? I am going to show it now, and let's read the question completely. Next, what they have asked is using bankers algorithm, answer the following questions. Draw the need matrix. You have to calculate the need matrix as I show in your first example. You have to draw the need matrix, and you have to write the safe sequence or the safe state. And next one, as I said you, in your bankers algorithm, you are making use of, there are mainly 2 algorithms. In your bankers itself, there are 2 algorithms. One is safety algorithm and another one is resource request algorithm. In this problem, you are making use of resource request algorithm. But keep that in your mind. If you want to execute or if you want to solve the problem using resource request algorithm, means always it will make use of your safety algorithm too. Why, if you want to calculate the resource request algorithm, or if you want to make use of resource request algorithm, means it is a combination of both safety algorithm as well as the resource request algorithm. In the further steps, I am going to explain how the resource request algorithm will work. in this question, in the third or whatever they have specified as a third question, if a request from the process P1 is, it is nothing but your P1 process is requesting for the new resources. These are the new resources uh, requested by your P1 process, and they are asking, can the banker's algorithm grant the request immediately? Show the new states, new system state and other criteria. This is the question. Before you trying to solve the problem, please read the question twice or thrice. Please try to understand and analyze the question first. After you understand the question, after you understood the question, then start solving the problem. Here, first step is you have to calculate the available value. How to calculate the available value? As I said you before, the total resource value minus total allocation. How to calculate the resource value? Total resource value is already given 9, 11, 9 and 9. This is the total resource value. How to calculate the total allocation value? Summation of each and every resource. You have to perform the summation for each and every resource. So 4 plus 1 plus 1, it's 6. Next, 8 plus 1, 9. 5 plus 3 is 8. 7, 1, 8. This is our total allocation value. This is the total allocation value. What you are going to do now, how to calculate the available value is, as I said you before, if you want to calculate the available value means you are going to calculate the based on this formula. So what is the formula now? What is the total resource value? The total resource value is 9, 11, 9, 9. This is the total resource value minus total allocation value 6, 9, 8, 8. This is the total allocation value. So what is the available resource you got from this? Once you subtract it, 9 minus 6, it's 3. 11 minus 9, 2. 9 minus 8, 1. 9 minus 8, it's 1. So the available value for this is 3211. At initially the available value is 3211. Now what they asked, once you got the available value, once you find out the available value, what they ask is to draw the need matrix. How you are going to calculate the need matrix? Max minus allocation. For each and every process you need to calculate the need matrix. For that the formula is max value minus allocation value. So 6 minus 4, it's 2. 0 minus 0, 0. 1 minus 0, it's 1. 2 minus 1, it's 1. This is the need value for your P1 process. Next, what is the value for your P1 process? 1 minus 1, it's 0. 7 minus 1, it's 6. 5 minus 0, it's 5. 0 minus 0, 0. What about P2? 2 minus 1, 1. 3 minus 2, 1. 5 minus 5, 0. 6 minus 4, 2. 1 minus 0, 1. 6 minus 6, 0. 5 minus 3, 2. 3 minus 3, 0. This is the need value for each and every process. So, how many process they have specified in the question? For that you have located or you draw the need matrix. This is the first question they have asked. So what is the next one? Write the safe state or the safe sequence. How we are going to write the safe state? As I explained you in the previous example, you have to calculate for each and every process. You have to calculate whether whether the sequence is in a safe state or not. So how you are going to calculate that? Need minus work. So what is the need value for your P0 process? It's 2011. What is the available value? It's through 3211. Whether 2011 is less than 3211? Yes, the condition is true. Now you have to calculate the new available value. How to calculate that new available value? Current value 3211 plus what is the allocation for P0 process? It's 4001. So what is the value now? 4 plus 3 it's 7, 2, 1, 2. Now check for P1 process. What is the need value for P1 process? It's 0650. This is the need value for P1 process. Now what is the new available value? It's 7212. Check whether the condition is true or false. The condition is true. Now calculate the new available value. 7212 plus what is the allocation value for this? 1100. Now if you did the summation, what is the new available value here? 7 plus 1 8, 2 plus 1 3, 1 2. This is the new available value. Now for P2 process, what is the need value for P2 process? 1102. What about the available value? Current available value 8312. Whether the condition is true or false? Yes, the condition is true. Now what is the updated value? 8312 plus what is the allocation value for that? 1254. If you did summation of that, what is the value? 9 5 6 9566. Now what about P3? What is the need value for P3? 1020. What is the available work? Updated available work 9566. Whether the condition is true or false? The condition is true. Now you need to calculate the new available value. 9566 plus what is the allocation value for P3? It's 0633. Now what is the new updated value? 9. 5 plus 6 it's 11. 6 plus 3 9. Again 9. This is the total available value. This is what we calculated the available value. Please update these values in this table. So what is the next updated available value? It's 7 2 1 2. Scratch it out. What is the next updated value? 8312. You can scratch this out. So now what is the next value? 8566. Sorry, 9566. Scratch out the previous value. What is the final value? 9 11 9 9. This is the final available value, whatever you have calculated now. Once it is done, you have to write the save sequence. Don't forget to write the save sequence. Here, all the processes executing in the same order. None of the processes are having the false condition, so it will remain the safe state as same. P0, P1, P2 and P3. This is the safe sequence. Next, what they have asked, if a request from process P1 is, it is requesting, process P1 is requesting for the new resource. So they are asking like, can a banker's algorithm grant the request immediately? Before solving the problem, it has to consider or it has to verify that the process or the banker's algorithm can able to grant the request immediately. For that, what you want to do is, first you have to check whatever the requested resources. This is 0 to 0 0. You have to check this resource with the initial available value, initial availability of the resources, whether it is less than or your available value is greater than the request value, then the banker's algorithm will grant the request immediately. Or else, if it is the requested resource is having a high value than the available resource, means obviously it cannot grant the request immediately, or it cannot grant that request. And one more thing or one more point, as I specified in your previous problem, I said that the total final available value should always equal to the total resource value what they have given. You can verify your answer based on this also. Whatever you are allocating the resources, whether the process is you are allocating the processes, I mean resources to the process is right or wrong. You can verify in this way also. The total number of resources given, it should be equal to, at the end the final available value should be equal to the total resources specified for each and every resource. So come to this question, if a request from the process P1 is can be can banker's algorithm grant the request immediately? As I said you, the request value or the requested resource is less than the available resource is nothing but you can able to, the banker's algorithm can grant the request immediately. Next, what they have asked is, show the new system state and the other criteria. For that, this is the request algorithm. This is how your resource request algorithm, resource request algorithm condition or the steps. You have to follow the steps. Once you came to know, you can banker's algorithm can able to provide or can able to grant the request, means you have to follow these conditions. What is the first condition? The request value. What is the request value? 0 200. This is the requested value. You have to check whether this request value is less than or equal to need value. What is the need value for the P1 process is requesting for the new resource. So you have to check the need value of that previous of that P1 process. So what is the need value of P1 process? It is 0, 2, 0, 0. You have to check whether the condition is true or false. Sorry, the need value is 0650. This is the need value of P1 process. Now you have to check. Now you have to check whether the condition is true or false. If the request value is less than need value, the condition is true. Now here I have specified the steps. If the step 1 condition is true, then go to step 2. What is the step 2 indicates? The request value. That is nothing but 0200. If it is less than or equal to, what is the available value of your P1 process? It is 3211. If it is 3211, now check the condition whether the request value is less than or equal to available value. Yes, the condition becomes true. Once this step 2 condition becomes true, then go to step 3. What you are doing in this step 3? In this step 3, you are going to add the available value of the P1 process. The previously having available value of P1 process. What is the available value previously you had in that P1 process is, it's 3211 minus, and what is the requested value? 0200. So what is the final answer once it is done? So what is the final answer after subtracting the previously available value on the requested value? It has become 3011. This is the new available value. Next, to calculate the allocation, what is the formula? Allocation plus request value. What is the allocated value for your P1 process? It's 1100 plus, what is the request value? 0200. What is the final answer? 1300. This is your new allocation value for P1 process. Here, for calculating the need value, what is the need of your P1 process in your your first step? So the P1 process need value is 0650. This is the need of your P1 process previously, minus the requested value 0200 is equal to, what is the final need value obtained after this? 0450. This is the requested value. Now you have to update this content in this particular table. While you are calculating, again you need not to specify the max value. Here you can take only the allocation available and the need value. You just copy paste the previous available and need value. Don't copy the available value, because you are calculating the available value as a new from the scratch. Just copy the need value of each and every process. This is the need value of each and every process. But here you are going to change the values of your only of your P1 process, or else for your convenience you can take as it is. What is the previous allocation value of your P1 process? 1100. This is the allocation value, previous allocation values. So here for the P1 process, you are going to change the values which you have obtained or calculated using these formulas. What is the available value, new available value after requesting the new resource from the process P1? It is 3011. So here you have to specify the in available column, you have to specify it has a 3011. Here you are not taking only for P1 process, this is the initial available value. This is your initial available value. Here you are going to change the value for each and every, for P1 process, only for P1 process. What is the total allocation value for P1 process? It's 1 3 0 0. Which I have marked in a blue color. Those are all the new values after performing the resource request algorithm. What is the new need value? It's 0 4 5 0. This is the new need value. Just scratch out the old values so that you won't get confused. So this is the new allocation available and need values after requesting a new resource from your P1 processor. Once it is done, once you calculated, once the conditions are satisfied of your resource request algorithm, again for calculating the safe sequence you have to make use of your safety algorithm. So how you will do that? You just you just want to repeat, you just need to repeat the process. So what is the need value of your P1 process, sorry, P0 process? It's 2011. Now what is the available value? It's 3011. Whether the condition is true or false, the condition is true. Calculate the new allocation value. What is the new allocation value? It's 7012. Now for P1 process, what is the P1 process need value? It's 0450. What is the available value? 7012. The condition is true. Calculate the new resource available value, 8312. Now what is the need for P2 process? It's 1102. New work value or available value, 8312. The condition satisfied. Calculate the new resource available value, 9566. Next, what is the need for your P3 value? P3 process, 1020. New available value, 9566. The condition is true. Now what is the final available? 91199. This is the final available value. Please fill those values in this table. Seven zero one two. Next, what is the next value? 831. 8312. What is the next one? 9566. Next, it's 91199. You can just see this. The final available value is matching with our total resource value. In that safety sequence algorithm or year, both will match as your values, or both will match as the same values. Now what is the safe sequence? There is no any repetition, so the safe sequence remains same. P0, P1, P2, P3. This is the safe sequence. This is how you need to solve the problem. Try to solve more problems on this algorithm, Banko's algorithm, using both the methods, safety algorithm and resource request algorithm. Both make use of both algorithms and try to solve more number of problems on this, so that you will get clear. You will be cleared about the topic. And this is the next topic, and our next topic is about deadlock detection. Deadlock detection is nothing but once there is no any process is occurring, or if the process becomes a halt state, you have to check what is the condition, if the deadlock occurred or not. So by that time, for that particular process, whether the deadlock is occurred or not, you need to check the value, or you need to check for which process the deadlock has been occurred. For that deadlock detection, you make use of two graphs. One is resource allocation graph and another one is wait for graph. Resource allocation graph is nothing but, as the gets in that resource allocation graph, it's along with the process, it will be consisting of the resources. What are all the resources allocating for the process, it will be demonstrated in the graph. So this first figure depicts that this is the resource allocation graph for 5 processes. Now you have to write the wait for graph. How you will write the wait for graph? In that wait for graph, you are not providing, in that wait for graph you are not giving any of the resource. There is no any representation of your resource in this wait for graph. It is just a simplified, and it will be consisting, each node is indicating only the process. How you will write the wait for graph? Wait for graph is nothing but you need to specify from where. For example, in for your easy convenience, see here, process P1 is R2 is allocated to your process P1, but process P1 is requesting for R1 resource. In the same way, R1 resource is allocated for P2 process, but P2 process is requesting for R4 process. R4 process is allocated for P3, and P3 process is requesting for R5 resource. This is how you need to, in this way you have to specify the wait for graph. Here P1 process is allocated with the R2 resource. From that R2 resource, or P1 process is waiting for P1 process is waiting for the resource R1, which is allocated to the P2 process. Next, here P2 process is allocated with the R1 resource. Now R2 resource is waiting for, sorry, P2 process is waiting for R4 resource, which is already allocated for P3 process. So your P2, from P2 process, it is waiting for P3 process to release the resource. Next, what is the next condition? From P3 process, P3 process is allocated with R4 resource, but P3 process is waiting for R5 resource, which is allocated for your P4 process. So from your P3 process is waiting for P4 process to release the resources. This is how you have to write the wait for graph. Next, what is the next condition? Your P4 process, your P4 process is allocated by your P5, R5, but from your R5, R5 is already allocated for P4 process, but P4 process is waiting for R2 process, which is allocated for P1. So your P4 process is waiting for P1 process to release the resource. Next, here can you see this? From P2 process there is one request for R5, which is already allocated for P4. Now what you are going to do? From the P2 process you are sending a request to the P4 process. It is nothing but your P2 process is waiting for P1 process to release the resources. Next, once it is done, now you can see this. From P2 process, it is requesting for R3 resource, which is allocated for your P5 process. So from P2 process, you are requesting for PR5 resource, which is allocated for your P5 process. This is how you need to write the wait for graph. If they have given the resource allocation graph, and if they ask you to write the wait for graph, you have to represent in this manner. This is the way to represent that wait for graph. It is nothing but once the resource is allocated for one process, from that process, if any of the process is waiting for that, from that process to allocated process, you are just drawing a line. That is your wait for graph. This is how your wait for graph will be worked in your deadlock detection. Next is your deadlock recovery. Next topic is your deadlock recovery. What do you mean by deadlock recovery? Deadlock recovery is nothing but how, if the deadlock condition occurs, what are all the measures you can take to recover that deadlock condition? What are all the measures you can take to uh, to overcome that deadlock situation? In this deadlock recovery, you will be having a one is a resource. I mean, in if there is a deadlock condition means both the process and the resource both will be in the deadlock condition. By that time, if they for the resource, you can make use of two methods, that is preempt and another one is rollback. And for the process means you can make use of two conditions or the two characteristics, so that is kill one or kill all. What do you mean by preempt method? In your resources, if you want to preempt the resource or for recovering the deadlock condition, before preempting any of the process or before preempting any of the resource allocated to the different process means, before that you have to check the few conditions. What are all the conditions? First you have to check what is the priority of that process, whether it is about to execute means now, by the time you are not going to preempt that resource or you are not going to preempt that process which is allocated for the particular resources, which is allocated and the resources are allocated to the particular process. That kind of processes or the resources you are not going to preempt. And another one condition is while selecting or while preempting the any of the resource, you have to check what is the priority of that process. I mean, if the resource is allocated for one process, you have to check the uh, priority of that process. By that time what happens, if it is on having the highest priority process, then you need not to you should not select that process which is having the highest priority, because always those highest priority processes will which is having the burst time or the value, priority of the process, usually the higher priority process are not selected. And the next one is rollback. What do you mean by rollback? Rollback is nothing but once you find out or once the OS find or once a OS enters to the deadlock condition, it is just like your undo operation in your documents, or while you are performing anything. If you press the control Z, or if you perform the undo operation means what will happen, it will get one back, it will go one step back, right? That is just like your rollback. Rollback is just like that undo operation. Once the process enters to the deadlock condition, by that time what you will do, you will roll back that operation. It is nothing but you will go one back step behind. By that time by this what you can do is you can avoid the deadlock situation. you, Once you do this, you can avoid the deadlock situation. But the one major thing in this rollback is, what you have to do is the operating system should have the checkpoint of each and every process. It means from one state, or if you are getting back from that state means there should be a checkpoint. If you again, if you want to execute from that particular state itself means, it should be noted from where it has been shifted back. By that time what happens, if you want to restart from that particular step means, you can easily, or the operating system easily restarted the execution from that point of view. So that is one thing about your rollback. That is the one method in your deadlock recovery. And next one, if you come to process, you will be having a two types. One is kill one and another one is kill all. In that kill one process, what you will do, you are going to kill the process. It is nothing but a process termination. How you are going to perform that? In that process, if you want to kill any of the process, it is the most difficult job in the deadlock recovery topic. But in the kill one process, you have to consider which process you need to terminate. You can terminate it. You can term this as kill one or the process termination. In the process termination, what you are going to do, if you terminate the process, it will terminate, completes its execution. So it is nothing but abnormal termination. How? But what is the drawback here? It means when you want to kill the process, means if it is entering to the deadlock condition, by that time you are going to terminate that particular process. But what is the drawback? If there is a circular wait, or if there is if the process are connected in the circular graph, means by that time the operating system role is to identify the exact process which has to get terminated. That is the major part, or major that is the one major thing or the difficulty in kill while killing one process. That is about that is one of that is the one way to recover the deadlock. And next is kill all. If any of the process is terminated abnormally, if it is an affected, or if uh, operating system fails to choose a proper process, means you are going to terminate all the process. What are all the process enters to the deadlock condition in the circular wait? All the process will get terminated at the same time. But what is the drawback, or what is the disadvantage in the kill all process? Means once you kill all the processes which are going to execute at the same time, means it will again restart all the processes at the same time. That is one of the major drawback in the kill all in your deadlock recovery topic. This is about your this completes your module 3 chapter 1 deadlock uh, chapter. So the major topics in this is the Banker's algorithm and the wait for graph, how to calculate or how to draw the graph. And these are all the theory concepts. Hope you understood the topics which I have covered in the previous video and this video. Please go through the video once. Please go through the topics what all I covered in this and previous video. If you have any doubts, if you get any doubts, please get back to me. Please revert me back. Thank you.